Several weeks ago, I realized that the comp titles for my novel suck. So since then, I've been trying to find better comp titles for The Fourth Wall. I've read 5 different kind of grittier fantasy novels, and today we're going to take a look at them and see what I thought. From the get-go, there's already a problem with the blade itself. One of my wishlist items was to be published within the last 5 years. Not every one of my comps needs to be published in the last 5 years, but that being one of the items on my wish list, it's already got a strike against it. I'm hoping that it'll be able to check off some of the other items on my wish list, specifically a good tonal fit, similar content or plot structure, and a good dark epic fantasy fit. Well, I've got a lot of cooking ahead of me today, so I'm going to pop in my headphones and listen to the audiobook while I work, and I will check in with you guys later. My wife and I like to meal prep, and one of the great things about it is you get it all done, you have food for the week. One of the horrible things about it is that I am dog tired. But I got a lot of reading in, and I'm really enjoying the blade itself so far. As of right now though, I'm iffy about using it as a comp. I think it could be a good match tonally. The blade itself, just like The Fourth Wall, has a good mix of light and dark. Right now I'm a little wary of using the blade itself as a comp because all of the characters in this book are pretty unlikable. They're enjoyable to read, but I don't like any of them. I do have a problem with my main character that he's not sympathetic, but I don't know exactly how all of that is going to plan out and if it's gonna be good to say that my characters are unlikable or not. Characters aside, there's another issue with this book, and that's the plot. There are lots of plots, but kind of not a plot at all at the same time. And I really don't know if it's gonna be a great fit for The Fourth Wall, mostly for that reason. I'm really just gonna have to keep reading to see if the plot goes anywhere, to see if it checks off that box. I finished the blade itself now, and though I really enjoyed it, I'm not sure it's gonna be a great comp for The Fourth Wall. Everything I said still stands. The biggest issue for me is the plot is everywhere, and add to it that it's a little bit older, it's not within the last 5 years, I'm just not sure if it's going to be a great fit. I'm going to keep it in mind still because, as I've said, I'm looking for a good comp combination, not the perfect one comp title. But as comps go, I am a little bit disappointed in the blade itself. I was hoping for more. Right now I'm pretty hopeful for The City We Became to use it as a comp. Right now the magic system seems pretty similar to mine, where the world kind of does its thing and the characters have to learn how to manipulate around the world and around the magic instead of being able to manipulate the magic itself. The plot, however, seems pretty different from The Fourth Wall, so that's something I'm going to be paying attention to in The City We Became as I decide if I want to use it as a comp or not. You guys may have already known, but I actually decided to DNF The City We Became, so I didn't plan out my content very well because I think I published a video about this forever ago, but whatever. In the meantime, since I DNF'd The City We Became, I've had a lot of thoughts about what I'm actually looking for in a comp. Because of The City We Became, I'm wondering if maybe the items on my wish list are actually arbitrary. I talked to a trusted writer friend of mine just about comp titles and maybe what I should be looking for. And they said instead of focusing so much on like similar plot structures or things like that, but instead I should be focusing on the essence of my story and finding comps that match that essence. I'm still working on figuring out what exactly is the essence of my story, especially because I'm still in revision, but I'm wondering if part of the essence of The Fourth Wall is characters' beliefs being challenged. Either way, I want to keep this advice in mind as I continue to look for my comps. Because while my wishlist is great, it might be focused on arbitrary things. Finding the essence and looking for those comps might be a better path. The Prius started out hot. I was really impressed with how fast I fell in love with characters to then hate them seconds later and then to go back to loving them the next paragraph. It had kind of a Gatsby feel to me where the point of view character was telling the story of the main character, but unfortunately the character that I was most interested in disappeared from the narrative rather quickly, and I lost interest fast. So needless to say, I'm not going to be using it as a comp. So moving on to the Poppy War. Hot. First impressions, I'm very hopeful about using the Poppy War as a comp. It's newer, It's got a lot of the things that I'm looking for. I'm on chapter 4 right now, and so far it reminds me a lot of Red Rising, but with some really important genre and setting changes that really help it be more of a comp for me. I like its tone a lot. It's dark without being too heavy, but like I said, I'm only on chapter 4, so I'll just have to check back in with a better analysis later. Wow, just wow. Not only did I love the Poppy War, I think this could actually be a really good comp. It has a lot of similar plot elements, and it really examines its world building and really looks at how individual characters are affected by that world and that world building. It really does feel like I struck gold with the Poppy War. My only hesitation with it might be the school element at the beginning, but I don't think that that's really what that story is actually about in the first place, and then tag it on with other comps that I think that school element just won't really come across when I use it as a comp title. I've also started The Lies of Lachlanmora, and I'm still in the prologue. This is another older book, so it already has one strike against it. And to add to that, just the vibe that I'm getting out of the prologue, I'm not sure that that's the kind of vibe I want to compare the Fourth Wall to. It feels pretty similar to the Blade itself, except for some reason I feel like it's less applicable as a comp title, and I'm not really sure why. Like I said, I'm only in the prologue, and this could just be that I don't really like the point of view character that we have for the prologue, which is this thief taker, I think, or thief maker, I think is what it was called. But I don't know. I'm in the prologue. Yes! I got another one! I loved The Lies of Lachlanmora. It's exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to comp titles. It's got that assassin goes to Six Flags on vacation vibe. Something that I didn't know that I was looking for, but that I actually really liked about Lies of Lachlanmora, especially when it comes to comp titles, is kind of the complicated structure it has. It's not completely linear, and it mixes different timelines together to tell a complete story, which is something that I'm doing in the Fourth Wall. I also thought that The Lies of Lachlanmora did a great job with characters, especially as a comp title for the Fourth Wall, especially if I compare it to The Blade itself. The Blade itself has morally questionable characters. I guess we call them morally gray characters. A lot of them aren't very likable at all. And the difference with Lies of Lachlanmora, even though there are definitely some gray areas, the characters are a lot more likable, at least within the first books. I haven't read further on in either series. Maybe that changes. All in all, I am very happy with this first round of comp title considerations. I've got 2 now that I feel very comfortable using as comp titles. However, reading with a purpose has gotten really intense for me though. As much as I loved some of these books, it feels heavy to read with a purpose sometimes. So I'm going to take a step back from figuring out my comp titles for just a moment, and I'm going to continue reading some of the series that I already started. I've got a couple from just this video, plus I've got Dresden Files. I want to get through Stormlight. I got to finish the Witcher series still, and I'm thinking about rereading some of my old favorites as well. Click the card to check out some of those favorites, and hit me up in the comments below if you think there are some other books that I should try out.